I can see four Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs memes right here. All of them are different colors. At least one of them is like kinky romantic because it's pink in color.
I am a huge romantic person.
I love this. This is like a 10 out of 10 explore page.
Biting someone who cares about me and plays with my hair and keeps me warm.
Self-fulfillment needs.
My Instagram really knows me.
I do not have a fake social media personality. I am genuinely this funny, pretty, intelligent, and an angel sent to love and be loved in real life.
Narcissist much?
Shivani Mitra is one of my favorite creators on the internet because of the raw, very singular presence that she has online. Her visual note-taking, as she calls it, involves drawing parallels between nature, human existence, and what she sees around herself. Shivani's art is of a kind that I haven't seen from anyone else online. It's beautiful, it's comforting, and it's also very, very weird. This is Digital Diet, a series where we explore the curious corners of the internet that our favorite creators dwell in. Why did you choose Instagram as your primary mode, a primary platform of expression? Were you always there?
I mean, I was much more of a YouTube girl. Not that I ever created content there, but I was I was really consuming a lot of YouTube things, and I was one of those comment leavers. Say, oh, I've been looking for this song for 5 years and this song sucks, or all these kind of things, like pretty cringe things. But I was like also 14, 15. I was also from a generation that was not exactly millennial, but not exactly Gen Z. We were like 1999. And as a result, we know what it feels like not to have the internet, and then the novelty of having the internet. That, that wow, I can go down and I can like listen to Maroon 5 and and do little karaoke's alone at night. So that was the app that I used most as a kid. But then over time, I mean, I of course had my own Facebook phase, and I don't know how much I want to talk about that. But then of course, by the age of 20, I had my own Instagram. I actually was one of the last few people from my class to have an account. And, even there, I can actually start seeing the little beginnings of looking at life a little differently. Like, oh, I like the color of this leaf, or, oh, I like the way this ocean wave has left certain mark on the sand. But it was really not that intentional. It was more like, matlab, theek hai. I like this, theek hai.
Hashtag just to
Hashtag leaves. Like it was a bit like that. But I think it was 2 years ago that I actually very consciously started exploring, looking at things through the eye of a camera. And that's how it really started off for me.
And is this Instagram account the same Instagram account you had at 20?
No, it's not. Actually, the one that I had was called, it's called a lot of things. It changed its names many times, but currently it's called Lost Artist Club.
It still exists.
It still exists. I just lost the password, so I don't have access to it anymore. But I used to do a lot of funky photographs, very art direction vibes going on, a lot of nude photography. And but I was just exploring the body and landscape, and I already knew I wanted to be an artist. But then I had a separate page just for, can I swear?
100%.
For Bakchodi. And it was called Some Birdie initially, because I just wanted to say it's just somebody, but that was taken, so Some Birdie. And then it just turned into like something else, and then something else, and then it was finally like, it stuck to Shibu stuff. Like these things that I post are just Shibu stuff, It also went through its own voyage, It was initially, oh, I really like this artist, you should check them out. And it was very color coordinated, like, oh, I'm really exploring blues right now, I'm really exploring yellows right now. So it already had this curational way, but that was very organic, and it was not an artificial curation where like, grid acha lagne chahiye, It's not like that, but it was more my natural exploration of what I am fucking with right now, and it coming together in what I curate and what I observe and what I put out on the internet. But then over the course of time, I realized that I would only take pictures or write sometimes, but I was very afraid of like videos as a format. So I got a new phone. Before that, it was very sad scenes. But I'd got a new phone. It was still Android, but that sense of having a new tool that's handy and it's new and it's exciting. And I was like, I want to do something with this. I want to explore. I recognize a fear and I recognize an interest. And let me see if I can marry these two things together. And so if you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, you will see that I started, it was almost with an anthropological, cultural lens that I was trying to observe what was touching at me at that point. I have obviously moved on quite significantly from that phase. But it was like, okay, I like the way the shadow falls on the cow as the cow is moving. There is the staticness of the shadow and the moving texture of the fur of a moving cow, of the cow, and why do I like it? So the question of why do I observe, why do I like, started coming more than, I just like. So there was this almost like more involvement in the things that touch me that started happening that actually led me to where I am now.
What I'm hearing is that you were always putting these things out there. The phone came, a new tool came,
Yeah.
maybe more time on your hands.
Yeah.
But it was still a continuation of that journey than a new journey altogether.
Actually, I did have that. I definitely had that also myself. It was much earlier and it was not in the format of Shibu stuff. It was in the format of Lost Artist Club. But I did have a turning point myself as from plain consumer, to someone involved in creation as well. And someone who identifies as a creator also. Like, I mean, I wrote plenty, I drew plenty before, but I never actually thought myself to be someone I could confidently call an artist or claim that word with ease. But that turn did come, and it was a very, very important turn in my life, for sure.
Do you feel confident in calling yourself an artist now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, there is no doubt about it now.
What changed?
I fuck with what I fuck with, like, and I have no shame around it. Like, I just, for me, it's very simple that, no, I like this. I like this, and I like how I feel things deeply. And I like how I take the time to express how I feel things deeply with as much beauty and clarity and and a clarity and beauty that is in some ways accessible to as many people as possible. Not something so hyper personal at the same time that it falls flat, but something that, hey, this is how I felt. This is how I felt. And to write it down in a way that I'm sure others can feel that way as well.
It's like sharing your journal out there. Like, these are literally your notes.
Exactly.
For public
Actually,
view.
that's very well put. And it's almost like, I don't care. It's almost like a dumping yard for me in some sense. I don't think of it as this really sacrosanct area where it's almost like, Arey, nikal ja mere se.
Okay.
Nikal ja mere se, ye le le. If you want it, see it. If you hate it, you hate it. But this is how I felt it, and this is how I felt unapologetically, and therefore I'd have,
Do people hate it?
not really.
You get out and out, this is shit sort of comments on your content. It must hurt.
I'm sure there is like a massive I don't know, massive amount of people who probably think I'm pretentious, and I'm completely okay with that because I have grown up being called pretentious a lot, and I have come to realize that I cannot explain to you that I feel deeply. I'm so sorry that you don't.
So you're not consuming the hate.
I am not actually, and my DMs are also a space that are extremely alternative, if I may say so. Like, it's not like, "Ele mera land ka picture," it's almost like, "Hey, Shibani, you came in my dream yesterday." And I'm like, I'm so invested. I read these things like, whoa, that's nice. I dreamt my ex came in my room and I smelled his scent and I was so sad. And I'm like, whoa, it's 7 a.m. though. Like, I'm reading this extremely raw. It's like almost like they feel safe enough to tell me things that they probably wouldn't. It's almost like I become their journal. So that's very interesting relationship I have in the DMs. Yeah.
I saw this quote somewhere on some reel or maybe on Twitter or something that went, be so unapologetically yourself that people feel safe to be unapologetically yourself themselves around you as well. Maybe that's the shared space that you're creating.
I should hope so. But I would also like to add a note that I think my unapologeticness is not evenly spread across my life. I am someone who's incredibly insecure. I am not just, whoa, I've figured it out, guys. You can be safe around me. No, there are times where I feel very unsafe and I rely on my friends to feel safe. And there are times where they feel unsafe and I rely on them. But in the context of the internet and in this context of Shibu stuff, yes, I think I have more or less created a space where I feel affirmed in myself. And I should hope that that gives a sense of encouragement and inspiration. I mean, inspiration hi kya, pata nahi. I hope encouragement. Yeah.
Do you also curate the people you follow or choose to follow people who give that feeling to you as well?
I spend time on the internet just to be entertained. So I'm not, yes, I mean, I will not follow Kim Kardashian. And if anyone does, good for you. I am not judging you. But I follow meme pages like wholesome kinky memes or something
love
like
that page
I love
so
that page.
much.
I love it. With the pyramids, like basic needs.
Being cuddled.
Exactly. Me and my childhood friend, we spent a lot of time like getting into the world of Twilight. And we love the borderline cringe. I live for that. So my Instagram is borderline cringe and Sigma and a little bit of a this aurat ko dard hai vibes, like a bit of that energy is definitely there in my For You page.
So you follow meme pages and pages and creators in general who make you feel things.
Yeah, I like these really esoteric meme pages as well. Where it's like a bunny rabbit like this and it's like tired. And I'm like, yeah, I feel that. It's very niche. But I love these kind of contents, yeah.
We will be looking through your Explore page later in this episode as well. But from you yourself,
Yeah.
if you were to divide by genre what you're looking at,
Okay.
On Instagram
On
in particular,
Instagram, okay.
yeah, how would you do it? And how much of it is entertainment? How much of it is visual inspiration? Do you follow people who inspire you as well?
Some, yeah.
And where else do you get your inspiration from?
So on Instagram, I am an avid scroller. You will see me online very often. And I'm one of those avid savers also. Like I love saving.
I
And
love
it's like
saving.
extremely curated. I'm like, this will fall under body goals. And this will fall under, intellect. Or this will fall under things I want to do. Or
Do
things
you
I want to
sort
become.
by collection? Your
Yes.
bookmarks? Oh, you do.
And I am extremely, like I have folders that are, like, it's like archives. For me.
Yeah.
I'm very Pinterest girl when I bring that energy to Instagram. I'm very arena girl and I bring that energy to Instagram. Just sheer content wise, it is very different from my other apps. It is very centered around personas, very centered around who I would like to be. And that is, it's like I'm also someone who will see one reel 50 times.
Oh,
If I like one reel, I'll just look at it again and again and again and again and again and again until do I absolutely absorb the essence of why I like this?
sometimes I do that with your reels.
Really?
Yeah, there was this one of a cat and then a reflection of a cat and then a reflection of the reflection of the cat.
Yes.
I think I just played that the whole day I saw it. Yeah, it was crazy.
And the music is so beautiful.
Loved it.
Yeah. It was recommended by Ahilya actually. Yeah.
What are these other apps that you're scrolling on? You keep
Yeah.
saying other apps.
So I definitely spend a lot of time on Pinterest as a visual app. I spend a lot of time on Arena as an app where it feeds the subtler parts of me, I would say. Like the less hurt parts, but the more curious. And I want to grow. I want to be better. I want to unleash this part of me that I know exists and that's beautiful and so I go and I read other people's work or other people's collections. So Arena, if I may talk about it for a bit.
I like Arena.
Yeah, I love it. I just love it so much. It's this place where you see this one thing, one block as they call it, and you see that block and you're like, oh, I really like this. And then you click on it and you will see the different kinds of people who have saved it in different contexts. So, and you get to go through their own files, their own archives of. So let's say I see something and it's under the file of impressions and thoughts. But then someone else has saved it under education systems. And someone else has saved it under growth is my soup. Or, like different file names, and it's so interesting to see what people are saving for themselves, and to have access, and you get to see their world and why they're saving it. It's a very beautiful experience, and I feel like whenever I find something very beautiful there, I inevitably share it with my closest friends, and then we have a conversation about it, or I save it on my own lonely WhatsApp group with just me, where I call it research, and I dump it there, talking about how I consume on the internet, if that is the thing, is I try to do it as much as possible consciously. But of course, that doesn't mean that the content I'm consuming is necessarily elevated. But there are sections that are, and there are sections that aren't. But whatever it is, I collect it as a documentation of what I've experienced and what I am drawn towards at any given moment or any given time. Hey, it's really nice actually talking about these things, because it's also really nice. I don't think I'm fully aware of these things. I just end up doing them. And like yesterday, I woke up at 2 and then I couldn't sleep. So then I just continued doing exactly that till like 4:30 at night, morning. I mean, while doing it, I'm not like, I'm still like active consumer, but it's nice to actually talk about these things and become aware that, hey, yeah, even though I'm not fully like self-conscious of how, it's nice to do these things, it's nice to actually talk about it and to some degree acknowledge that, hey, it is nice. I am happy that I do these things.
I've heard a lot of artists with unique tastes say that they prefer not to consume content related to theirs or what people in the same niche as them are doing, because it can mold your taste in a certain way. You have a very unique visual identity, and I've seen other creators doing, also similar stuff. Do you consume that kind of content, or do you actively keep yourself away from it to retain your individuality?
Okay. So here's the thing. I am someone, if let's say mujhe inspiration zarurat hai na, I will not go consume exactly from the same well that I am from. But let us say the same essence of, let's say, my content on a reel or on a video, I will try and discover in writing. So trans medium inspiration from the same kind of feel. I do that a lot.
Give me examples.
Okay. So let us say I'm getting into a more edgier style in my, the way that I observe things or the way that I feel inside right now. So then I will go read a very interesting book. Like I'll read Queer by, I forgot his name. And, or I will read like Tropic of Cancer by Henry Miller. And just absorbing the style of writing, the way a story is being said, the way that it is taking me to an emotional conclusion or an emotional journey through a book, through the writing. I then take inspiration from that and take notes on that and see, okay, ye to writing mein hua hai. And obviously writing has its own visuals that are created through juxtaposition of certain words, certain pauses, but then so is editing and so is visuals, also a form of language or vocabulary, and pauses with music. Okay, then how can I draw parallels between that? So that's how I try to like take inspiration, not from the source, not like, okay, if I want to be a cinematographer, I will not watch more movies, contrary to popular opinions. In fact, I've more or less stopped watching good films. In fact, I will just watch Bhul Bhulaiya, or I would watch Welcome, I don't want to consume anymore as much as before. At one point I used to watch a couple of really good art films a week, and I would discuss it with my teachers and my friends. I am not in that space anymore because I do think myself no longer as a consumer of cinema, but as someone who would potentially be contributing to cinema. So now I'm pulling from art. I'm pulling from a beautiful photograph. I'm pulling from a beautiful painting. I went to Serendipity. I was so moved. I am trying to understand light in cinema. So I sketch. I sketch and see how I was in this place with a lot of sculptures. I sat and I just sketched a lot of the faces, because then I'm noticing how is the light falling? What is making this sculpture look better because of the light, because of the contours of the face? And these things add up. These things are education actually in ways that one may not put together as education. But I draw a lot of inspiration and information from these observations outside of my own medium.
What I'm hearing is Instagram is just primarily your outlet. Your inspiration is coming elsewhere. It's coming from these other apps. It's coming from real life, from other kinds of
Yeah,
art?
I mean, of course, I do stumble upon a couple of nice
Sure.
things, of course, but that is not the norm. That is not the norm. Instagram is where I go to unwind. Instagram is where I go to brain rot. Instagram is where I go to just not feel. But there are also, yeah, like you said, I think I'm someone who definitely absorbs a lot and from just reality, and which is why my Instagram is what it is also. But just noticing people, eavesdropping conversations.
I love doing that.
Yeah, same.
What does your screen time look like?
Very high. Very, very high.
Can we put a number to it?
Is there a way to check? I think today I was very good because I was having conversations
We
with
can
people.
check your weekly average.
7 hours, 20 minutes.
7 hours, 20 minutes.
Whoa.
Can we see your explore page now?
Of course. Please be good. Please be good. Please be good. Please be good.
Let's start with Instagram and then maybe we'll go to your Pinterest or like your arenas. I can see 4 Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs memes right here. All of them are different colors. At least one of them is like kinky romantic because it's pink in color.
I am a huge romantic person.
I love this. This is like a 10 out of 10 explore page. There's some animal duck stuff happening in one corner. And there are cats, which I love. It's Blake Lively. There's chill guy meme, but he's not looking chill. He's looking horrified and he has dark circles and stuff.
That is so mean.
Can I scroll? I really want to see your memes now.
Yes. Hey, absolutely. Hey, chill guy doesn't look chill. He really doesn't. Biting someone who cares about me and plays with my hair and keeps me warm.
Self-fulfillment needs.
My Instagram really knows me.
I do not have a fake social media personality. I am genuinely this funny, pretty, intelligent, and an angel sent to love and be loved in real life.
Narcissist much? I know. Okay. I love these. I live for these memes.
Do you go on explore page a lot and like see things?
I do. Yeah, I do.
And you find creators you like and you
Okay,
follow.
sometimes I will just find something like that.
How do you choose who to follow? Like, do you just see one good reel from someone and hit follow, or do you go stalk them?
I follow my friends.
That's all.
Yeah, and if I become your friend, I will follow you. That's it.
That's like a challenge or a questionable statement.
No, it's not. It's not. It's like in the sense like if we get to know one another and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll follow you. Like it's not like, some people are like, oh, iske to khali like 300 followers. How could I ever like
Right
ever do
before
that?
we came here,
Yeah.
my producer asked me, who does Shibani follow? Like, let's see
Yeah.
what her consumption is. And I very confidently told him she follows nobody. Because that just felt in line with your personality.
Okay.
That I don't follow anyone. I come here, I post, and I disappear in a wisp of smoke. You're using Instagram to actually look at your friends' lives.
I just follow them because it's polite. And I mean, I don't really ever consume someone I follow. I'm not like, matlab. Oh, of course, there are some people like Ahilya for sure. Like I sometimes even stalk her. I'm like, I'm sad, so I will be funny now. I want some funny vibes in my life. So one thing you will find out about me, I am a big on leather jackets and I'm big on beautiful spaces. Like I want my space to be beautiful. And I don't mean rich looking necessarily. It is not about Amir dikhna hai, but it's more around Sundar dikhna hai. And Sundar is not necessarily always Amir. So my Instagram is, my Pinterest is really based on beautiful buildings and beautiful spaces and beautiful jewelry and leather jackets and leather furnitures and how to smell good.
I think this is actually exactly how I would have imagined your Pinterest to look. I'm just going to show it to
Please go ahead, yeah.
There's quotes, there's sketching, there's cool outfits, there's flat lays of like nice looking things, there's stuff with quotes around it, and a lot of spaces like living rooms, windows,
Yeah.
exercise content as well,
Sometimes.
and poetry, a lot of it. This is great.
And tattoos. I really like tattoos and
Clearly.
yeah.
What is the one thing, and don't overthink this, but
Okay.
one thing the internet has given you that you wouldn't have otherwise? It could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing.
Opportunities. 100%. I can do whatever I want, being mostly bed rotting. and people come to me and say, hey, do you want to work with me? I don't have to be like, "Arey, resume banate hain." Matlab, I have never made a resume in my life, and the only time I did it was because it was a fun activity where I pretended to be someone else. But I'm just so happy that it has given me opportunity to be myself without having to. It's a privilege. It's absolutely a privilege. You know, I'm not like I deserve it or anything, but I just happen to have gotten it, and I'm so happy and grateful that I don't have to work under someone. I don't have to stifle my own visions and dreams and how I wish to spend my time. And if I need to work, I'm seen. I am in the radar of companies and creative people that I look up to. Also, I did not all. I mean, I didn't come from a financially very stable background. The fact that someone just Apple gave me a phone that I can make more content with, like these small things, you know, like these things matter to me tremendously. There is given me this opportunity, and this opportunity is arrived by me just being myself on the internet. That is amazing, and I feel extremely grateful and extremely privileged. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shivani, for giving us your time and an insight into what goes on behind the scenes of what we see through our screens. Thank you for letting us see your Explore page and the inside of your mind.